Thank you. So, good morning again and welcome to the webinar. I appreciate people taking out the time for this. And yep, today's topic, who want to be like fund accountant and don't have idea, but not really sure what it takes or how to go about. So, in today's session, we will try to understand what what fund accounting is and what are the qualifications required, what are the experience required, and what are the like not only technical skills but what are the other non-technical skills are required and seen in a fund accountant. And at the end we'll try to understand what are the job opportunities. Because at the end of the day what matters is the job, and that's what any person would choose a career in. So, introducing myself, my name is Sami Owais, and I have been into this fund accounting industry for the past 15 years, and still on. So, I work for multiple companies. All are like US based multinational companies, and mutual fund, hedge funds, predominantly into the private equity fund accounting. That's my specialization. And by qualification, and I am an MBA finance and CS like company secretary executive, like that is intermediate part also I have completed, but never got the chance to complete that fully. Okay, all right, let's move quickly. Yeah, before we dwell into that, I would like to introduce our NGO, that is Career Guidance Council, who is hosting this session. So, Career Guidance Council is an NGO, have been into the market for the past 15 years, more than 15 years. In fact, what Career Guidance do, it caters to the needs of the job seekers and students. Uh, we bridge the gap between what is taught in academics versus what is expected into the market. So there is we understood there is a big gap between what we learn and understand in the college versus what is expected into the market. So we work on that. We give a lot of trainings to the people, and we provide like guidance. So every weekend we have sessions on Saturdays and Sundays. This is one of the sessions happening. So most of the time Saturdays webinars happen on different topics, and Sundays we have offline sessions in Hyderabad. Urdugar, Mogolpura, we have a center that is called as Talent Development Center. There we conduct programs every Sunday. We do have a lot of skill-based centers running full-time courses. One at Shalibanda named as Advanced Skill Development Center. We have in Mogolpura, that is Talent Development Center, where we are offering industry demanding courses free of cost for the students and the job seekers. We do have women specific center called as Princess Zehra Women's Empowerment Center. That's exclusively for the women and ladies to join. Okay. So basic thing is like to interact with the student, to share the job expectation or the market expectation with them, and giving them like basically kind of mentorship they require. And we conduct some sessions in schools and colleges as well. So you can be a part of that. At the end of the webinar we provide some details about this NGO, where you can join our WhatsApp groups to get like more updates on the job openings and our like various courses and information about this kind of webinars and our offline sessions. All right. Okay, before we understand what is required or what are the skill set required and all, we need to understand what fund accounting is and where does it stands in terms of uh, into the market, right? We often hear about investment banking and a lot of other financial departments which are offering jobs for the finance folk. Okay, so we are dwelling into understanding the fund accounting terminology first, then we will understand what are the qualification and skills required. So first we need to understand like there is a famous term very popularly used called as alternative investment. So alternative investment, why it is used for private equity fund, hedge funds, and mostly for this is earlier, if you guys remember, like most of the people know, right? People used to invest into equities, bonds, and uh, they had like a few options only, right, to make the investment, and those are the options which people had to bear with or go with. Okay, but as the time passes, as the need need arise and people understand and people got the lot of like money and they were looking at the avenues to make the investment, they have got some big money. So where there is a demand, then there has to be some product which should come into the market. So that's how like these private equity hedge funds came into the market and offering, and the offering was given to only like big people. When I say big people, it's like HNI clients, high net worth individuals who have a lot of money, and they were looking out for any investment opportunities. And they don't want to be like keep everything into the like public. They want to keep things like privately, not being transparent to the public, wherein their data is published into the market and they going it to the newspapers and all. So they were looking for such an opportunity, and private equity fund, hedge funds, and real estate funds, I would say, these things came into the picture. And so why they are called as alternative is we had this option, traditional options earlier, something alternative were needed and came into the market. That is why it is named as alternative investment. Something, investment avenues which are uh, which came like against the traditional investment. So if you see some departments where you are applying for fund accounting, they would say alternative investment department, AIS kind of, they would call it as. Okay, this how the terminology came into picture. Quickly moving on to get into fund accounting, we need to understand what fund accounting is. So if you go into the Google and search for the fund accounting, you will be surprised to see the definition there. It will have the definition as fund accounting is something which is the accounting of a trust and an NGO, right? Where you are getting some kind of donations and you are you are preparing receipts and income, receipts and expenses, kind of accounting. But what we are talking about and what we are seeing that is being emerged into the market is something different. The terminology is different. So when we are calling or talking about fund accounting is nothing but fund accounting is a specialized field. You need to understand this. It's not a common thing. It is a specialized field within accounting. Okay, this is not out of accounting. Dedicated to overseeing and documenting the financial transaction. At the end of the day, we are also same like any other accountant. We are recording the financial record transaction of an investment fund. Okay, there would be a fund started by the either mutual fund, hedge fund, or the private equity funds. So when we are talking about fund accounting, we are talking about the accounting of mutual fund, private equity funds, and the hedge fund. So in simple words, if you ask me what's the definition, I would say the accounting of these three, any of these three is termed as fund accounting for our discussion sake. What the fund accountants do? Fund accountants are required for keeping accurate financial records. As like any other accountant, we are responsible for maintaining the financial record, calculating the NAV, and ensuring compliance and regulation. So you might be asking the question like why and how we are different. Like we are also doing the same thing what a general accountant would do. So our answer to that question is fund accountants are more responsible, I would say, because the kind of amount is involved into this is very huge amount, and it's requires because of its complexity when compared to like general accounting. If somebody assume that somebody is doing an accounting in like Tally or any basic software versus what account fund accountants do, there is a lot of difference here. You need to use your mind, you need to be having the right skills to understand that. You need to understand the various terminologies, you need to be aware of the various reporting requirements. There are lot of things which a fund accountant would be knowing against the if we compare it with the general accountant. Okay. If at all you guys have any questions, I would appreciate if you guys put it in the chat box. I will take it whenever in between. Okay. Okay. Now we'll try to understand what a fund accountant do. Okay. How the fund accountant's life would start and what does it involve? What are the various activities a fund accountant perform? So as a fund accountant, my responsibility is that I would be uh, booking the investment activity. So let's understand this way. Whenever we are talking about the fund accounting, there would be I'm taking talking about very basic structure, wherein there would be one fund which would okay. Let me take an example, so make it really better. All right. I don't want you guys to just guess anything. It's better to understand more practically. All right. Whenever I am saying talking about the fund, so there is a fund. There would be a one fund which is started by any fund house. Fund house are nothing but those are the big institutions, big financial institution like BlackRock, EQT, Contrarian. We have a lot of big names. Those are the like big financial institutions who are in starting this fund. Okay, when I say starting this fund, they are the people who are the owners of it. They are the GP. They are the GP who are involved into taking the decisions. Let me write the GP then. Okay, so this is a fund started by just say BlackRock. I'm using their name. I hope they don't mind. So BlackRock is one of the big name. They tops the list most of the time globally when we talk about private equity. So always I use this example. So I assume that BlackRock is a like a big financial global company. They have introduced this fund into the market, and these are the people like investors. They are called as LPs, limited partners. In case of private equity fund, I'm exclusively talking. So these are the people who invest into ABC fund, and ABC fund once they collect money, they will make investment into different companies. Okay, different companies or the different funds like A, B, B, C, whatever you are saying here. These are the like companies or the investments or the combinedly they are called as portfolio. Okay. And GP is nothing but in terms of like private equity, GP is nothing but he is the fund manager who is taking all the fund decision. Okay, whenever I'm talking about anything, just keep this structure in mind. There is a fund on the left hand side, you have all the LPs or the investors. On the right hand side, the fund is making the investment into different companies or the different funds. And the GP is nothing but it's a fund manager or the portfolio manager who is in taking all the decisions of the fund and responsible for getting the fund into the profit. Okay, all right. Coming back. Now try to correlate when I talk about each of the activity. Okay, when I say investment activity, it's a where the fund is making the investment. So we as a fund accountant are responsible for booking the purchases where the fund is investing, and anything I'm getting out of that, like sales is happening because at a certain point of time I have to sell the my positions and get to the either profit or loss sometimes. So realized gain, unrealized gain, I have to write. You guys must be understanding, right? Like whenever you invest somewhere, if everything goes well, you end up and you are making that sell, you end up getting the realized gain. And if you are not selling that, is still performing, you still have to record that is called as unrealized gain and loss. We as a fund accountant involved in the cash reconciliation. What do I mean by that is I have to take care of all the cash coming into the my fund and all the cash going out of the fund. Basically, I have to reconcile the bank statement each and every. If I am responsible for the 50 million, 60 million entries, so such a big amount, I am also responsible for the 0.01 hitting my bank statement. So as a fund accountant, it's my responsibility to clear all the cash breaks and booking it properly, utilizing my skills and knowledge. All the incomes, when it is very obvious, when you invest somewhere, then you would tend to get some sort of income. Then as a fund accountant, I am responsible for recording all kind of income. For example, if any security, if a fund is investing into any like debt securities, they get regular income, right, like by way of getting interest. So they get regular interest, which needs to be accrued, which needs to be recorded at a proper point of time, right? Similarly, if the that company is like open ended, and they are providing some kind of dividends, and so such incomes also I have to make sure that I am recording. And similarly, when I'm talking about incomes, there comes the expenses also. There would be a lot of expenses for any fund. If you talk about mutual fund, private equity, or hedge fund, in all sort of funds, you would see that there are a lot of expenses are involved. So as a fund accountant, I should be knowing different expenses. I should be recording them as well properly. This is a crux of any fund accountant. You must be hearing a lot of about the NAV, right? Net asset value. So this is the central and focal point which every fund accountant is responsible for. So at the end of the day, all the fund accountants are responsible for calculating the NAV, which is net asset value. So net asset value, the formula is very simple. It is your net assets. When I say net asset, it's all assets minus your liabilities. Okay, that's a very simple formula we have for NAV. So net asset value is all assets minus liabilities, all liabilities, except with the exception of your equity part. Like owner's equity, you have to keep aside. Everything you need to consider under the liability. All right. And after that, nav is prepared, and assume that everything is approved by the client. Always remember, whatever we do for an accountant, that has to be approved by your client. Unless they approve, nothing goes further. So they are the, because the owner of the fund, and they are the people who are responsible for giving us the whole picture, or all the approvals, whatever the files we are sending. So after the nav is approved, then we are responsible for generating the investor statement, that is also called as PCAPs in case of a private equity fund accounting. So PCAPs are nothing but the partner statements, where it will have all the details, how much a investor have invested, and how much he has redeemed, how much is the profit and loss allocated to him, and what is the ending balance, right? If you guys also might be investing into mutual fund, you get a statement, right? Your statement would be generated every month. So it is same kind of statement we are generating, but we might be using different terminology. Preparation of financial statements. Here, just a disclaimer. Earlier, most of the companies where I worked, we used to be the people who would be also working on the preparing financial statements. But nowadays, because of the increased demand for the fund accounting folks, they have separated this department, and now you go and see that fund accounting team is separate and the fund reporting team is separate. So your job ends by preparing the nav and passing on to the reporting team. And when I say financial statement, all I mean is it's a preparation of proper balance sheet in a particular format using IFRS or the US GAAP, right? And the income statement, that is a profit and loss account, and the cash flow statement, and the partner's capital statement in a summarized version, and the footnotes, right? Notes to financials also they are called as. These all makes the and combinedly called as financial statements. and there would be another department. So till here I would say that are the those are the like activities, core activities performed by the fund accountant, but there are certain other activities also would be get involved but not done by the fund accountant, but they are important to know. That is why I have mentioned that department is like pricing and the valuation. What do I mean by that? We are talking about there is a fund, and fund is making investment into multiple companies or the funds. So when the investment is being made, that investment has to be valued, right? For example, I am investing into a company, say worth like 200,000, right, which is 2 lakhs. So after certain point of time, whenever I am doing my reporting, I should be seeking that what is the value of my investment at the end of the quarter, which I'm preparing now for. Assuming that I have started fund in Feb and preparing my books, right, in the March for the Q1, for the quarter one. So in that case, I made the investment in the Feb 15, for example, but I should be knowing and what is the value of my investment on 31st of March. So that's where the valuation team, pricing team comes into picture. They get all the valuation, they do the valuation calculation also, and put it into the system, right? That basically generates you the realized and unrealized values. And there would be investor activity also get involved, where all your subscription, redemption, transfers would be recorded, and there would be separate department called transfer agency. They are the people mostly take care of this. They are responsible for taking care of all the needs of the investor, like setting it up, asking the document, and there would be another department called as like KYC and AML. Those are responsible for doing background verification for the all the investors. Any questions so far? Are we good? Can you guys confirm in the chat that you are following? Just mention in the group that you are understanding. Just say yes. So I'll move ahead. Let's keep the group warm by your replies. So I understand that you are with me and able to understand. All right. Thank you, everyone. Okay, moving on to understand, when we say fund accounting is accounting of private equity fund, hedge funds, and mutual fund. We'll try to understand the basic of that. Then we will move on to the actual session and actual understanding the various skills and qualifications required. Okay, on the top, it's a private equity fund accounting. So private equity fund, as the name says, they invest into private non-public companies. Okay, as the name clearly mentioned that it's a private equity. So private equity, when we are talking about, it's a kind of fund which is created to make the investment into private companies. Okay, they don't want to invest into listed companies on the stock exchange. They don't want to invest into like well settled companies. The reason, try to understand the reason. The reason being is, when you are investing into listed company, that listed company is bound to publish all the reports publicly. They have like a lot of regulatory requirements for publishing their books into the open newspapers, right? In the like various news channels, they have to publish their books openly. So which is these people or these investors or these fund don't want to do. They want to keep themselves as the private as much as possible, because these are the big people having a lot of money, and they want to like keep it secret, and they don't want to get into the regulations thing. And if I have to talk about regulations, private equity funds and hedge funds, both, they are less regulated. Okay, they are very less regulated compared to mutual fund. That's the reason this is very attractive for the HNI clients or the institutional clients to make the investment into. They are similar to like venture capital firms, they where they are investing into new ideas, right? I always take example of Zomato, Swiggy, and Flipkart, right? These are the once upon a time, these were the companies who were just an idea by some particular person or the group of people, and they were looking out for some money to take a big leap, right? They wanted to make a big jump, so they were looking out for the investors, and venture capitalists are the people who are get involved and put the money for some stake. So let's understand private equity. So one of the strategy of a private equity fund is a venture capital where they invest into new ideas. It would be very risky situation where they are investing, but if everything goes well, they would end up into the profit. And the profit, what they are saying, that would be very huge. And there are a lot of strategies when we talk about private equity. They invest through LBO, which is leverage buyout. They would invest into distressed companies like this, the companies which are not performing well, about to file the liquidation. Such companies also they would invest, and in some cases they would want the controlling stake into the companies. So if you observe them, they are like more of a investing into the direct companies, private companies not performing well, or sometimes they would invest into as a growth strategy. They can invest into well settled companies or companies also where they are looking for the some amount of investment to grow their business. Moving quickly on the hedge funds. So hedge funds are the similar to the private equity funds, but the like only high net worth individuals also only invest into hedge funds. They are called as accredited investors. Okay, but their risk is very high compared to mutual fund and the private equity funds. Hedge funds are like more risky in nature, and they are like they invest basically. Hedge funds invest anywhere and everywhere. Their all ultimate goal is to get the maximum profit to the investors. So that's the reason they invest into complex securities. They invest into open market. They invest into like arbitrage or uh, currency differences thing, and they also invest into complex derivatives, because at the end of the day they want to achieve or get the good profit for their fund. So that makes them very risky. And in terms of regulation, if you talk about, they are very less regulated compared to mutual fund and all. And the people involved are very high risk taking individuals, or the institutions would make the investment into hedge funds. Talking about the mutual funds, very common. You must be seeing some ads also running on the TV these days. So mutual fund is nothing but it's a fund where a group of people like you and me, as good as like 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, some amount of money, small amount of money, can get into a mutual fund, can become the investor of a mutual fund very easily. And where do they invest? They invest into open market, into the equities, bonds, short-term debts, treasury bills, wherever they find. The only thing they keep in mind is they want to play safe. They don't want to uh, invest into like very high risking securities, right? They believe in diversification of the investment amount. That's why they will put amount into multiple companies or the multiple funds when they are making the investment. So comparatively, they are very less risky, very high regulated. Lot of requirement would be there in terms of regulation if you are talking about for a mutual fund. And there are various types of mutual fund: open-ended, close-ended, and mostly they have daily NAVs. With in If we compare with the private equity fund, wherein we would be having the quarterly NAVs, right? So the life of the mutual fund accountant would be very hectic, because every day they have to cut out the NAV and make it available for the public. Right? And the mutual fund, that is called the share of the company ownership is represented by the mutual fund units. They are not called as shares. Okay. All right. I will take all the questions, guys, when I pause in between. Okay, let's understand what are the educational requirements are there, because you might be having the right skills, but in order to go into a building, you need the like entry pass. So I would say educational requirement is the entry pass. First, you need to have that, then only you can enter into that building, right? Without that, it is like not possible. So I am very specifically talking about the India, keeping in mind when I talk about educational requirement. So CAs are the like very popular people and very demanding, and companies prioritize or preferred taking the qualified chartered accountants or the semi-qualified also in most of the cases. So if you are a chartered accountant, then congratulations, you are like most welcome into the fund accounting industry. Okay, you are like most lovable people into the like fund accounting industry. And don't worry, if you are a semi qualified chartered accountant, if you are still in demand, you are still considered. Okay, moving on. The CMA, earlier it was like ICW. Most of you must be knowing, and that is cost and management accountants. Now they are also like given the opportunity, they are also in demand. If somebody is CMA, they are also can apply. Same similar to like chartered accountant, CMA also. If you are a CMA inter also, you can still go ahead and apply for any fund accountant job. Other than that, we have some very popular courses into the market for the finance folk, that is USCMA. So USCMA and the ACCA, they are also considered for the sake of as a fund accountant. So there would be good packages for them, because they are the people like who are holding, or they are coming with some strong background with these kind of professional degrees and the certifications. So these people are also considered. So one of the option for them, if they are interested, maybe these people like mostly looking for like portfolio side, like investment side. If they want to come on the fund accounting side, they are also uh, more than welcome, and they are also most eligible to apply as a fund accountant. Mm. CFA and CPA, these are like again globally top rated professional courses. If you see in the like a US and other like global countries, you will see that most of the top management guys there, you will find them either they are like a CFA, and mostly they are like at least like a CPA candidates sitting and like managing the fund accountant. So you, if you ever thought of moving US or any big countries, if you are interested in continuing in your career into fund accounting and any such uh, finance domain, then CPA is good to go for certification. Always helpful, always recognized. But for the sake of discussion, fund accounting also, they are always welcome. CAIA, this is one of the emerging course. I'm not guaranteeing, but because it is very relevant, it would have all the subjects which would be required for an accountant. So you can just have this also handy. If you are already working, this would be just add on to your certifications, and good to know the subject, and definitely it will add some weight to your resume. Lastly comes the BCom, BBA, and MBAs. They also get the opportunity. By the way, I'm not any of these, right? I'm not a chartered accountant and all those, right? But still, I'm working. So opportunities do come for these plain graduates and postgraduate as well. But you need to have the right skill set, right mindset, and right preparation. Then the very rare cases, not very often, opportunities would knock your door, but you need to be well prepared, and you should be, because your competition, those people listening to me who are like plain graduates, don't get disappointed, but you are also getting the opportunity. But the only concern is you have a competition with all these professional degree holders, like CAs and CMS most of the time. So make sure that you are a good competitor. You should be knowing at par with them or more than them in order to like survive into the market. Once you are in, once you are getting experience, then your qualification would not matter much. But before that, you have to put all your efforts. You have to brush up your knowledge and skills so that you can get a place into the fund accounting industry. Okay, are you guys with me before I go into the next slide? Can you guys confirm if you're good? Just put it in the chat, write it as a good. I will take the questions, guys. Don't worry. I see you keep buzzing in the chat box. I will take it from there. All right, thank you. Those who have given responses. Okay, now coming to the technical skills. It is very surprising. Many people reach out to me, and I'm sure with they would reach out to other industry leaders also. They would ask simply for the jobs. They would ping us and they would say, "Sir, can you just refer me? Sir, is there an opportunity? I'm so and so. I'm working in so and so company. Can you just refer me in your present company? Are there any opening?" So my answer to all those folk or all the people who are already working or you are fresher aspiring to go into the fund accounting, my answer to that question is you focus on building your technical skills and the other skills required. Opportunity would come to you. Don't be desperate. Okay, don't make yourself like very coming into the market and just asking for the interview kind of thing. Everything happen, believe me, everything would happen, and there are a lot of cases I have personally where people are from a different background. They were just MBAs and they were just CMA or CA inter qualified. They were not good. Then when I talked to them and shared about the skills required, they worked hard. They focus on building their skills and building that attitude of entering into the fund accounting industry, and they have seen the difference. They have seen that they worked on the skills. Then it's like a sharpening the axe. You must have heard that story, right? You have to focus on sharpening the axe, right? Keep focusing, keep sharpening yourself, keep sharpening your skills, and I'm sure and I promise the opportunity would knock your door one day. Don't be impatient. Don't be impatient. Just keep on doing. Let it be 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, doesn't matter. But only focus on your skill set, and other things would be taken care, and the opportunity would come, and you would be a part of fund accounting industry one day for sure. Okay, let's understand what are the technical skills required for a fund accountant. Okay, couple of things I would mention. I want you to like take a note of this very seriously and work on this. This is based on my research, you would say, my experience of 15 years. I have jotted down. There can be other skills required as per the other people. So this is just my perception. So one first understanding, first thing is you need to be having the good understanding of all the accounting concepts. I always say a good accountant is a good fund accountant. Okay, these two things are not different. These are like one and the same. They go hand in hand, right? If you are a good accountant, if you think your accounting is very strong, then congratulations, you are the right person to enter into this industry. Don't think that you don't know the actual accounting concept. When I say accounting concept, like we are talking about historical cost concept, money measurement concept, business entity concept. Don't think that these concepts are not would be not utilized in this industry. No, no. The answer is you should be very strong in each and every concept of accounting. So fund accounting, don't think it's something different domain, technical domain coming from somewhere. It's just one of the branch of the accounting, just that it has more value into the market. Okay, so as a fund accountant, you should be strong into all generic accounting concepts. Okay, and good to know, or it's better to have the knowledge of how like GAAP and IFRS work, what they are and how they are like same, in what are the things they are same and what are the things they are different. Okay, for the people who don't know, so GAAP and IFRS are nothing but they are the global accounting standard followed by a fund. So if you are working on a particular fund, you should be either working or following GAAP or the IFRS. I'm talking about US funds, guys. So don't get confused, because if you see any fund in India, if you are working on, they might be following India GAAP. Okay. So when I'm talking into like into this webinar, I'm putting focus on the US US funds. So have the knowledge of GAAP and IFRS, and this is very common question also. Most of the interviewers ask like, can you just tell me about the differences between like how certain items are treated? Okay, so GAAP is coming from the US, and IFRS is like again global standards created in UK. So some funds would follow this, some GP or fund managers would follow the GAAP and other accounting standards. So you should be know. I'm not asking you to know about each and everything about there, but having the basic knowledge and having the like different knowledge would be like having the knowledge of how they are different to each other. That would be good to know. Don't go into the very depth, but which are relevant for you. Understanding the financial statement is very important. Like when we say financial statement, you should be understanding what all the financials would be prepared and required as per the accounting standards, and what would be the timelines, what are all the reports you need to prepare and disseminate to the investors. You should be aware of what would be the timelines, what are the regulatory requirements, talks about financial statement. So when we say financial statement, it's a balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement, partner statements, and the your notes to financials. So these things, read about that, understand that how they are related to each other, how they have the like connection when you book one entry, how it would affect the all the financials, right? These are again, this is a common question asked in the fund accounting industry, that when I'm booking one journal entry, say for one expenses I'm recording, what is the impact of this particular expenses on the different financials? So you should be knowing the connection between the financials also. Then the knowledge of financial instruments like equities, bonds, derivatives, and how the foreign exchange works, it's good to know. I'm not asking you to know each and everything, but the basics of this would definitely have basic to intermediate level you should be knowing, like how this instrument would work, and how they are like being accounted, right? So derivatives also very important. We don't know, you don't know like which accounting department you would end up. You might choose to go into the hedge funds or the private equity funds, and there are a lot of hedge funds which use the derivatives. So it's better to know. When we are talking about derivatives, you have forwards, futures, swaps, options. So you should be knowing all those definition at least. If you don't know the practical how they are valued and all, if you are not aware, that's fine, but have the basic knowledge of these instruments. And you should be knowing by what are the like different expenses charged by these funds, right? There are a lot of expenses which are common to all these three: mutual fund, hedge fund, and private equity fund, like administration charges. If you are giving services to the taking services of the fund administrators, and in case of private equity, you would be having management fees, and all these funds are to be audited. So that's the reason all these funds would pay audit fees. There are a lot of legal requirement would be there. For that, they would be paying legal fees. So these you should be aware of as a fund accountant, uh, like what all the expenses would be there into a particular fund. Journal entries, this is my favorite topic. I would always put stress on that. Like, if you ask me how much does it make journal entries, I would say 50% of interview is clear if you are a master of journal entries. So try to understand the basic journal entries, then move on to understand the more complex. Here in this case of journal entries, the more complex journal entries you are aware, it better it is for you. Okay, whenever I take interview, I put focus on and would prefer people who are good at the journal entries. Lot of people come to me and say, "Sir, we are good. And we want to enter into fund accounting. We know all the concept and all." But when I ask them the journal entries, they are like not really good performers there. So for me, because this is accounting job and requires your day to day, the accounting of journal entries you have to record, I would prefer a person who have the good knowledge. So make sure that you are good at journal entries. And product knowledge is very important, like how we have seen just now, like how private, what private equity is, what hedge funds are, mutual funds are, how they are similar to each other, how they are different to each other, what makes a hedge fund different from the private equity, and what are the features of each one, what are the drawbacks, what makes them risky, who are the like which are the funds which would give the good returns, which are like what would be the kind of fund structure. So all such things you should be aware of. A lot of stuff are available these days on the LinkedIn and other platforms. You need to make use of that. Okay, corporate actions also very important for mostly for hedge fund accountant and mutual fund accountant, I would say. But in the most of the interviews, this is very common that interviewers would ask about the corporate actions. Okay. And there are different types of corporate actions, right? You can go for and understand the basics ones which are very popular. You can see a couple of examples I've written, like dividend is very common, and stock dividend, rights issue, stock split, reverse stock split. So see, for the fresher, right? Freshers are not expected to know more about technical side of how this work, how the fund accounting works. So as an interviewer, we would put focus on asking this kind of questions, understanding your knowledge on other financial products like corporate action and derivatives. I know this, you as a private equity fund accountant, you may not be working on that, but always a person having a curiosity would learn about different accounting concepts. Last but not the least, Excel. If you are a master in Excel, that would going to help. You should be having a data management skills. Like you need to play with the data. There would be a lot of data involved. You would get from the client. You need to do a lot of data mining. You need to be placing right data at the right place. There would be a lot of time. You would get data from the other admins and the client directly, and they would ask you to like process this in your system. Then if you are not good at Excel, then if your knowledge is good, your skill sets are perfectly fine. But if you are not good at Excel, then definitely that would be a problem for you. If you don't know the Excel options like pivot tables and the sorting formulas and the VLOOKUP, nested VLOOKUP, IFS, such things, if you're not aware, then you would definitely struggle. So as a fund accountant, this is also Excels are very necessary, because at the end of the day, your NAV pack is prepared on Excel. Your all of the supporting documents are prepared in the Excel sheets. All right. What are the like non technical skills are required? Now we have seen about like subject knowledge, all about that. So so not only like subject related things are required, and not only like your qualification matter, but there are a lot of other skills also do matter for a fund accountant. Let's see One by one, what are those? Attention to details, because as I mentioned, a lot of data is involved and the data is very sensitive. You should be very attentive. You cannot be like sitting casually and processing the data. So your concentration is very much required when you are processing data or you are sitting on the driver's seat as a fund accountant. You are a very responsible person. That is why initially I mentioned how we are different as a fund accountant when compared to general accountant is we are responsible for the very sensitive data, very big data. Just putting one small amount here and there would jeopardize all your accounting books. So as a fund accountant, you should be very attentive person, keeping your eye to detail and focusing on your job. Don't get like a lot of distractions. So when you are on job, you are needed to be very focused person. Analytical and problem solving skills, because there would be a lot of data uh, would be involved and you need to do some complex calculation. So it's better that you are a good person, good analytical person and problem solver, right? There are certain times which where we get into the problems, we are stuck somewhere, so we are expected to come up with the solutions, how to treat a particular item. So in such cases, as a fund accountant, we are responsible for analyzing the data, understanding and giving the proposals, right? We need to give the proper proposal to the fund owners or the GP that this problem can be solved in this particular way. So you have to be very clear on that. Okay. All right. Time management and multitasking, this is very important. So don't think that when we are talking about fund accounting, it's just a knowing a certain concept and once you are a have a right qualification, that's enough. You have to be a good timekeeper of your day-to-day activities, and you should be multitasking. When I say multitasking, it is not checking your mobile of course. It is how you understand different things. For example, assume that you are working on some very complex task which require your attention to detail, but at the same time, assume that you have a client call also and you have a tight deadline, and at the same time within that 30 minutes you have to deliver something and the client call is happening. You can't say that no, I can't attend this call because I'm working on very important thing. No, as fund accountant you are where possible you can do that where possible, but at the places think that you are the person who is responsible, you are the key person, you are the person who has to give input in the call also, then you have to make sure that you are managing your time and do you are doing multitasking, like you're talking on the call at the same time giving updates and at the same time working on your stuff as well. So you have to be multitasking. You can't say I'm working on this, I can't take any call, I can't chat and I can't reply to the my onshore counterparts. I can't do that. So that is not going to work. You have to multitasking person, talking to the people and helping your team members, seeking the help from your leaders. Everything goes like hand in hand. Okay. Communication skills, because whatever however you are talented you are, you have skills, if you are unable to talk in front of the people, and then that would be a problem. So always focus on improving your communication, and how to improve is talk more with the people we are interacting and understanding the things and dealing with the clients in English. So we are talking about English communications. Focus on that and try to enhance that. Try to learn the grammar, try to learn the English speaking, and try to enhance that skill. So this is one of the skills which is very important for you to make your presence felt, show your knowledge and give a training and understand, take the training from the people, and this would be helpful in order for you to grow, because unless you speak out what is in your heart, what is in your mind, then it is like as if you do not possess that. So good communication would help you grow to the like next level. Interpersonal skills are very important because you are dealing with the people, you are dealing with the systems, you are dealing with the different kind of people with different cultures. So you should be knowing, and you should be a very humble person, accepting the feedback, talking to them properly, understanding their culture background, understanding their timings, everything you need to keep in mind. You have to be a soft spoken person, understanding the needs of your client, and accommodating it properly and cascading the same to your team members also. So interpersonal skills are very important and good to have. Flexibility and adaptability does matter because you can't say I'm working into 11 to 8 shift and it is 8 o'clock and I have to go back home. That's not going to work. Very sorry to say that because as a fund accountant you are responsible for certain tasks at certain point of time has to be they have to be delivered, right? You can't say you have a fund deliverable, the nav has to go out, and you are saying no, my time is done, 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock, I'm going. No, you are responsible. Try to understand from the perspective of a owner, right? If you are a owner of that particular fund and the nav has to go out, how do we feel? We feel that no, 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 we have to work and make it out. That's how I keep my promise to my client that this nav is excuse me, just 1 minute. Excuse me. So we need to be flexible enough. You need to accommodate that, and you need to take that responsibility. Nobody has to remind us that this is your fund, this is your responsibility. NAVs are due today. Nobody has to remind us. As a person, as a fund accountant, we should be responsible enough to take that thing on our hand, and you should come back or go back to your manager and says, "Sir, this is due today, and I have to deliver this, and I would need some kind of flexibility here. I would go back home and work. I'm not saying I'm logging off. I'm logging off now, and I will go back my home, and I would have dinner and do the rest of the work from the comfort of my home." So you need to be very flexible and you need to be adaptable in terms of working with different kind of people. You can't say I don't work with so and so people. I don't like people coming from so and so states. They don't know my language. You can't say that. You have to be adaptable enough to work in a team culture. That's where the next point comes. Team and collaboration is very important because you are, in most of the cases of a fund accountant, you have to work in a team. You can't say I don't want to work with that particular member. I know there can be some differences when we work with the different people, but we need to tend to like try to like manage the things, try to sort out the problems, and try to get the synergies rather than coming out of this situation. Because at the end of the day, whichever whatever company you go and you work for as an accountant, you end up doing working in the as a team collaboratively. You have to work, and you need to collaborate with the different departments also. It's not restricted to you will not stand at the like of accounting department only. You need to work with different department we talked about, right? You need to talk to valuation department, pricing department. You need to work on the like investor relations department, reporting people. A lot of other people would get involved. So you need to be a good person who would collaborate and get the things from the other teams. If you are good, if you are a soft spoken, if you have a good attitude, then definitely other people also would like it, and they would get your work done like in less time, and they would be able to help you. So for that, in terms of assume a situation where they are coming to you, okay, they are coming to you for any help. You have to make sure that you are helping them properly, so that tomorrow if you are having some kind of work, they are like remembering that scenario and helping you back. So that is why it is important for you to be a good team member and working in collaboration with your team, with the other teams, and with the all the other departments involved. Critical thinking decision making is very important for a fund accountant, because we as a fund accountant has to take a lot of decisions. And this is a beauty of fund accounting, I would say, where each day is a learning. Still today, after 15 years, I see we are discussing new things again. Every day I'm talking about. So it's a enjoyable job, but at the same time it requires your all the knowledge you have gained, all the skills that you have to utilize that and take some certain important decisions. Okay, you can't ask everything to your onshore counterparts or the client directly. If you are not able to understand, it's not like you are going directly reaching out to the client. No, no, no. You are hired because you have a right set of qualification and the experience and the skill set. You can't go for any every small thing to the client back. They won't like it. Okay, that is why very important. You are a person who are making the decisions and who are like proposing the solutions to them. You have to say that this particular journal entry how is to be recorded, rather than asking client directly what is the journal entry I should post. Instead of that, you would say, this is what I propose as based on my understanding and discussion. This is the what entry I am coming up with. Okay, rather than directly asking them. So they would also understand, okay, this person is like thinking something before like reaching out. And you need to keep an attitude always of learning attitude and improving yourself. Don't restrict yourself that after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I'm counting myself also and all my other colleagues with the same experience or more experience. So we have to be keep ourselves open to learn every time, and don't restrict our understanding. There might be some cases which we are not aware, which we have not dealt in our fund so far after 15 years. There is a possibility which is being happened and which is dealt by any new joiners who have been working for the past 1 year. He might have seen a scenario which I am not aware of. So I, as a fund accountant, should be having a continuous learning attitude. I should not say whatever I know it's fixed, right? Whatever I know is the final, because I've worked for 15 years. This is final decision. Whatever I say, you have to accept. No, no, no. That will not go that way. Okay, try to understand and keep yourself open for learning, and don't restrict your skill knowledge that whatever I understood in a particular fund, that's a final. No, different funds work differently, different companies would work differently on the same scenario, right? It's how they see, how they perceive, how the systems are do matter. Mhm. So always uh, keep improving yourself and keep the open mindset, and you will see that you would be growing that. It would be painful, I know. After so many years of working, you are seeing some new thing coming up, or the new person is sharing some kind of knowledge which you are not aware of. That would be painful, but at the end of the day, if you are open to learn and improve yourself, then definitely you are adding that particular scenario also uh, into your skill set. Okay, are we good so far? We are reaching to the end. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes we will end up. Are we good? Can you guys put it in the chat box? Are you guys with me? Able to understand? Getting bored? All right. Appreciate that. Thank you everyone for putting it.